So this is breaking news. Adam Waldman, that's JD's lawyer, by the way, has just been suspended from Twitter. You can see that listed on his account, too. He didn't do this voluntarily. It would say that if the account had been shut down. No, it tells you in no uncertain terms that this account, it was suspended. Now, when you look at this move, too, don't think about this as Adam Waldman being suspended. I mean, that's bad enough. Think about this, though, as JD being suspended, because that is all Adam Waldman talks about these days. He talks about the case 24/7, 365, advocating for the truth. And isn't it interesting that Twitter, they're down with the idea that you can go out, you can target an individual like JD, you can go for years, you can say anything you want, and that doesn't matter. But when you start trying to reclaim occupation, when you start trying to reclaim reputation, that puts the crosshairs on you, and apparently that somehow violates the terms of service. Amazing, isn't it? Oh, man, isn't it crazy what happens when you start going out and you start trying to advocate for truth and justice along the way? Yeah, you run into things just like this. So hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. Now, if you would, before we get started, to share this video far and wide. There's a reason for that. You can go on Twitter, you can tag in Twitter, and you can demand answers for this. You can demand that they review this. It may not happen. It may not help out the account, but then again, maybe it will. The crazy thing about this, though, is most people, they don't have tens of thousands of advocates that can do that for them. Once they're out, they're out. And you see what happens. I mean, people, they just go in, they mass flag. They're violating terms of service by doing that because it's targeted harassment. But does that matter? Oh no. Also, while you're here, make sure that you feed that pesky algorithm. That thing is a hungry baby. And you know what? If you feed it really well, these subjects, they get out there too. Also, make sure that you're subbed to the channel if you're supposed to be. If you haven't, consider that if you would, and thank you in advance. Now, for those of you wondering what Adam Waldman posted last, well, John Waldman here actually captured it. Props to him, by the way, for capturing this. And he tells you in no uncertain terms, for those wondering what Adam tweeted before getting suspended. Now, this also has headlines underneath it. They're talking about some recent turns. I'm going to talk about that in a video pretty soon, probably in the next couple of days. But he also quotes Dire Straits lyrics. What he's doing pretty much is talking about corruption in the mainstream. Quote, all the late-night bargains have been struck between the satin bows and their bells. Prehistoric garbage trucks have the city to themselves. I don't know how it happened. It all took place so quick. But all I can do is hand it to you and your latest trick. Of course, that's a Dire Straits song. That's very, very good lyrics. And of course, you can see the credit there. That's a Dire Straits song. So, when did it become a crime to quote bands and to post headlines from the mainstream media? Well, apparently, that's when you start questioning powerful organizations. And I'm not just talking about the mainstream media, by the way, which I'll mention in just a moment. I'm also talking about charitable organizations. I'm talking about the LAPD, how exactly body cam footage disappears. There's so many things out there that have been talked about, so many disclosures as of late. All of this stuff, too, it is court documentation. None of that violates any type of Twitter rules. And yet, here we are because of mass flagging. Now, when you think about what Adam Waldman has posted over the last 6 months, too, he started out with things like charitable donations. Now, when he's talking about that, he's been talking about people like Elon Musk. See, like Elon Musk or not, we are talking about the richest man in the freaking world. You don't think the richest man in the freaking world has some pull out there? Well, I got a bridge to sell you. Maybe you can cash it in with some Tesla stock, by the way. Now, we're talking about organizations, too. I mean, again, you can ignore the mainstream media in that. They have a lot of pull on that platform as well. But think about organizations like the ACLU. So you had charitable donations questions. CHLA, they were supposed to get $3.5 million. They came out and they said, we didn't get that. Well, the ACLU, they were also supposed to get $3.5 million. And instead of doing that, well, they went out and they fought. They wouldn't disclose anything whatsoever. And you found out not only that, but they helped write a certain article that, well, we're going to have questioned in Virginia 2022. On top of that, you have body cam footage that just came up. And that body cam footage, it shows in no uncertain terms that, number one, somebody didn't tell the truth about something. Number two, that a lot of people colluded after the fact to get a narrative straight. He's been posting about this stuff relentlessly. He's been talking about nothing but the truth on that. Nothing but a court case. And well, again, when you start going in and you start questioning the narrative that people have been setting down for years, apparently that violates terms of service. Now, as far as Twitter's terms of service and mass flagging go, there is absolutely no ramification for mass flagging. You would think there would be, but there's not. And that's targeted harassment, by the way. If you have somebody calling for tens of thousands of people to go in to flag down an account, that is harassing a person. That is against terms of service, but absolutely nothing happens. In fact, here's a person complaining about flagging accounts. Apparently, there is a limit to how many accounts you can report, and they're complaining about this. Nothing happens to them, even though they're not getting people suspended. At Twitter's support, why do you have a limit on who we can report? I've been harassed for 2 years, and so have my friends, and your site has facilitated that harassment, and your report limit seems like you don't want people reporting accounts. You like bots and spam accounts. Apparently, that's the wording that you utilize when you want to go in. You want to flag anyone that you don't like. People like this, they do this all the freaking time. They change the rules to platforms, and they, like I said, they get away with this kind of stuff. They get to act and react with impunity. Now, the reason that this stuff happens is twofold, by the way. Number one, you have a system that is very easy to report people in. And number two, I want you to think about the review system for this, because a lot of people, they have it in their minds that you have some professional staff out there that are reviewing your tweets and on. Oh no, that's not how it works. Best case scenario, you have somebody that actually speaks the same language you do. That's the best case scenario. Those people, they're pulled in off the street. They're given a minimal amount of pay. They're given a crash course in what is or isn't acceptable. And they're given a quota too. They have how many things they need to knock offline. So when people go in and they report things tens of thousands of times in a day, you may get that one person that is tired of their job, or they're trying to meet their quota and trying not to lose their job. There is nothing in that for them not to take you down. Now, on top of that, you have the innocuous terms that people utilize to report folks. Their favorites are terms like abuse and hate. What do those mean these days, by the way? It's not apparently hateful and abusive to target someone for 5 years, to try to take away their reputation and occupation. That's okay because it falls under certain hashtags. What is hate and abuse apparently is trying to defend yourself or having other people defend you. That might get you knocked offline. And like I said, Adam Waldman, he may come back because he has thousands or tens of thousands of advocates, and that's great. I hope he does. But most people, they don't benefit from that. And that is a broken system and then some. But anyway, let me know what you think about this stuff. As always, too, appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work. Can't say that enough. And if you want to help out the channel, there are links in the description. Can always use your help, too. Thank you. But you being here, that matters. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm going to end here. Thanks and see you soon.